So there was a question on my video, one of my video related to the parsing of JQL using a ScriptRunner for Jira, and I think this can be applicable for any thing that you want to do with your Jira search results, or let us say more than one issue in Jira. So basically the question was that if you have to search for issues based on the summary field, where the summary field will obviously contain spaces. Now, when we have to retrieve those issues using, let us say, JQL search using REST API, then how do we parse the spaces? So this is of course a very common thing, and I think many people want to know what is the best way of doing it. Although in almost every programming language, when you have to make a REST call or whenever you're doing anything, you have ways to parse your spaces in case you have spaces, or it could be any special character, or let us say quotes, and it is a possibility to do it. But in my opinion, or based on my experience, and I'll tell you what I do, whenever I have to perform any search using JQL, I try to search first in Jira and then save the result as a filter. Now the great thing about a filter is that filter will of course, filter is nothing but a saved query, and it can have a big query. So doing it in Jira, of course, Jira will do it, and Jira will take care of everything like spaces and everything. And the moment you save it as a filter, you will get a filter ID, and you can actually use that filter ID to perform a simple JQL search. And the question was actually on one of my video where I showed how to use ScriptRunner for Jira to simply perform a search, a JQL search, and I think you can do it either using Java APIs or using REST API. That is up to you. But if you save your filter as a filter, of course, if you save your JQL as a filter, then in your script, you can simply use something like filter is equal to that ID, like filter is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you perform a search using this query, it is number one, much simpler to implement. It is cleaner, and of course the filter ID will, or it has to be there in Jira. Of course, that is the only catch, that you should have that particular filter in Jira first. And I think if that works for you, then in my opinion, this is probably the best way. And of course I do it like this, and in most cases, definitely, if you are performing some kind of JQL search, it is a JQL, so I'm not really cheating, but I'm basically using a filter ID. And in that particular case, I don't have to deal with spaces or escaping, those special characters. I let Jira handle all of that. And of course, if you have a simple JQL, which is not really based on, let us say, summary, or if you think your JQL is simple, then use that simple JQL script in your that simple JQL query in your script. But I think even if you have to add a couple of queries, like if you have a couple of ands, or if you have spaces, which I think you would have, then using filter ID makes much more sense to me, at least. And I thought I'll probably share this with all of you. I think I did talk about it in the past, but yeah, why not make a video again? Because I believe these days people are doing a lot of things with REST API, and because that is the only thing that you can do with Jira Cloud. That is one of the of course, to interact with Jira on cloud, REST API is one great way. Of course, you can always write your own app, or you can use apps functionality, but as compared to doing things on server where you have access to the database, on cloud, of course, you have to rely on REST API. And when you're doing something with Jira, in majority of cases, people are actually dealing with issues, And parsing JQL is, of course, or basically doing something with the search result is probably one of the most common thing, and I think using filters makes life much more easier. So that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.